Happy Friday, guys. Today we are going to draw a haunted house for our e-learning project today. We're going to draw the basic bones of the house, and then I'm going to show you how to draw our little details, but you can add those wherever you want. Okay? For this project, you'll need a pencil, some paper, some colors, and then we can get started. Now, I'm going to just draw it with you. It's up to you what color you make it. It doesn't matter. If you want, I can post a picture of mine, my example here, so that you can, if you want to base it off mine, you can, but I'd love to see your own flavor on there. So let's go ahead and get started. Our paper is going to be portrait style or vertical, which means it is taller than it is wide. Okay, and then we're going to get started. We're going to start down here at the bottom, and we're going to draw just a curve. Okay, this is going to be the hill that our house sits on. Okay, now from there, we're going to draw an arch. Now, that's just an upside down U that touches the hill. Okay, this is going to be the door of our haunted house. Okay, now our haunted house is going to be a little crooked, so it's going to zigzag back and forth. So how we're going to do that is I'm going to start down here on my hill, and I'm going to draw a diagonal line up, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of my door. Draw another diagonal up. Okay, you kind of want those diagonals to meet about the same spot. Okay, so then I'm going to draw a diagonal going the opposite direction, and they'll end at about the same spot. Okay, so now what you need to do, this is the first layer of our house. So I'm going to make mine look kind of like a castle. So I'm going to draw a castle line to connect this diagonal line to this diagonal line. And here's how I'm going to do that. I'm going to start by drawing a little line on the end, and then I'm going to draw a line down, over, up. Pretty simple. Over, down, over, up. And we're going to do that all the way across until we connect it. Now, if it's not perfect, it's totally fine. It doesn't have to be perfectly connected. Okay, so there's the first layer of our haunted house. Now let's do another crooked section above it. So we're going to start here, and we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to draw diagonal one way, another diagonal, and then I'm going to draw a diagonal the opposite direction. Just like that. Again, I'm going to draw another castle line to connect my two sections. Okay, so here's the first section, here's the second section. Now, the roof is what I'm going to do next. Okay, on the middle section, I'll do the roof. Okay, so that's pretty simple. I'm going to start by drawing two lines like I was going to draw a roof, but I'm not going to let them touch. I'm going to leave them open up here, because that's going to give me the ability to make my roof a little crooked. And I'm going to do that by just drawing back and forth diagonal lines until I get to a point where I can draw just a little point up here. Okay? So diagonal, you can actually just draw a really crooked diagonal line and then another one on the other side if you wanted to do something like that. Okay, so we have our bottom layer, our middle layer, and our first roof. Now let's add a section on the right side of our paper. How I'm going to do that is I'm just going to draw two lines off the side, and my bottom line is going to go farther than my top line. Okay, then I'm going to just draw a diagonal out here, and I'm going to draw a line straight up. I'm going to connect it with, you guessed it, a castle line. Now, if the castle line is too hard for you to do, you 100% can just draw a straight line. That's fine. I just think the castle line gives it a little more flavor. Okay, and then I'm going to draw my roof. So diagonal, diagonal, super sharp diagonal, back, back, connect it with a point. Okay, so you kind of see how it's like a little zigzaggy there. Okay, so we've got this section. Now let's add another one on the left. Again, I'm going to start on the bottom, I'm going to draw my line almost from the edge of my paper all the way to my house. And then I'm going to draw another shorter line about right here. This one I'm not going to angle, I'm just going to draw it straight up and down. Connect it with the castle line. And then I'm going to draw my roof. Diagonal, 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 diagonal. There. Okay, so we have our roof here. We have middle section, left section, right section. Now, let's add some details to it. For our roof, I'm going to kind of do it like we did the bricks for our graffiti. I'm going to draw lines across my horizontal lines. And then instead of using a ruler and making it precise, this is a haunted house, so it doesn't have to be exact. So I'm just going to draw little staggered lines where it'll kind of look like it's got some bricks in it. Okay? And before I do my middle section, I'm going to add a little like window up here. So I'm going to draw a little square. And then I'm going to draw a little roof on top of it. Maybe a circle there. Okay? So then I'm going to draw some lines. When I get to my little window that I just made, I'm going to pick up my pencil so that it looks like that little house is in front of it, or my little window. And again, I'm going to draw my lines to make it look like some bricks. And if you mess up and you want to, because I messed up there, but it doesn't matter. It's a haunted house. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing over here. Now, actually, on this one, I'm going to do it a little different. If you don't want to do bricks, that's totally fine. Maybe you want to do some like curvy shingles. They kind of look like snake scales. And that's simply by just like making curves back and forth. So I'm just doing curves, 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 like that. Okay, so now that our roof is finished, I'm going to add a couple little windows. You can make them big. If you want them to be round, you can make them round like that. Okay, and then I'm also going to add some little like discolored bricks. And I'm just going to draw random squares just to kind of give my house kind of a creepy feeling. And you can add these little squares wherever you would like. And they don't have to be perfect. If you mess up, like I made that one kind of wonky, that's totally fine. You can make them look like that. Okay? So now that we have most of the details of our house made, let's go ahead and add some stuff in the windows. Okay? Maybe in this window, I'm going to add some angry eyes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a curvy letter W, and then I'm going to draw a V and draw some pupils in there. Okay, some angry eyes. Maybe I want a ghost in this window. So here's how you draw a ghost. You draw an upside down U, and then you draw a sideways U, and another sideways U, and then you draw a squiggle line down, and another squiggle line down, and then you just add the details. And there's my ghost. You don't have to draw a mouth on the ghost if you don't want to. In the corners here, maybe I'm going to have some spider webs. I'm going to draw a spider web here, and I'm just going to draw a curve, and then another curve, and then another curve. So it's pretty simple spider web here. And then I'm just going to, from this point where the corner is at, I'm going to just draw a line up, and I'm going to draw another line up. And then where's my spider going to be? Well, he's going to be hanging out down here. So I'm going to draw a line down here for my spider. I'm going to draw a circle, color that in, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 legs. There's my little spider. If you want to draw some bats, the bats are actually really, really easy to draw. Let me zoom in a little bit. I'm going to draw my bat right here so that you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so what we're going to do with the bat is we're going to use letters to draw it. Okay, so I'm going to start by drawing the letter W and then another letter W. Okay, I'm going to connect those two letters with a giant letter V, and then I'm going to draw a capital letter M on the top. Okay, so we've got W, W, big letter V, M. From the bottom of my M, I'm just going to draw a curve and connect it to my W, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Pretty easy bat to draw. Let me draw that again for you. Okay, I'm going to draw another one right here. I'm going to go W, W, letter V, M, capital M, remember, curve down to my wing, curve down to my wing. Okay, and then you guys can color those in if you wanted to. Pretty simple. Let's do this as well. Down here on the bottom, let's draw a tree. Okay, the trees are really easy to draw for a haunted house because I make them pretty simple. All you're going to do is you're going to draw a giant, draw a line, and then you're going to draw another line to make like this triangle shape on the side of your tree or on the side of your house. Okay, from there you just have to draw lines down, and then you kind of get a little creative with it. You're just going to draw some random branches out, and from those branches, you just have to connect little lines. So you can draw kind of whatever you want with your tree. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect because this is a haunted house. So if your tree looks a little funky, I think that's cool. Okay, so my tree looks a little funky there. Okay, so next to my house over here, I'm going to draw a jack-o'-lantern, and that's just a circle, some triangle eyes. And then I'm going to draw two lines, leave a little space in the middle, use that castle line again for a tooth. And then I'm going to draw my curve, connect it, draw my little stem on the end of my pumpkin there. Maybe I'm going to have some gravestones over here. Those are just upside down U's. You can write RIP on there if you want. And if you wanted some ghosts coming out, I can draw a bigger ghost for you. So again, upside down U, sideways U, sideways U, squiggle line down to the gravestone, dot, dot, and then if you wanted his mouth to be open, you could make his mouth open. Okay. The only other thing that I think I'm going to do to my castle or to my haunted house is I'm going to draw my door. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw two horizontal lines here, and then I'm going to draw some vertical lines here. But I'm going to let the vertical lines come down a little bit past my horizontal lines. And that's because I'm going to draw spikes on the end of them. And so there's like my gated door that comes down and shuts and scares everybody. So this is pretty much your haunted house. The last thing I'm going to add is the moon. Okay, so we usually have a full moon when it's creepy out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on at my house on my roof, and I'm going to draw a circle. And I'm going to draw that circle, and when I get back to my house, I'm going to stop. Okay, so there is a haunted house. Again, you can add your own flavor, your own details to it. I can't wait to see what your guys' haunted houses will look like. So have fun drawing and coloring your haunted house, guys.